Hello.
Hi guys, so we're here with Jane Kody today. I'm just gonna make
Just like that. We're just going to start the interview like that, straight up.
straight.
Alright, let's go, let's go. Let's go.
So we're just gonna have a few questions just about your music career.
Mm-hmm.
And I suppose just to get into it, just to tell us what kind of music you make.
So I make all types of music, but Dave Kody himself as an artist, which is my alter ego. I make mostly Afro beats. I make Afro beats, Afro swing, a little bit of dancehall here and there.
Nice. Okay. And like, what was your first experience with music?
My first experience with music was hip hop, or should I say more like R&B? R&B music. It was like writing about love stories or
Okay.
falling in love. Yeah.
So what would be your writing process?
So my current writing process is I listen to an instrumental. If I feel a connect from myself to the beat or the instrumental, I write what my head is telling me, because the message just comes to me straight away, or melodies just come to me straight away. Or sometimes I could be feeling a certain way, and the minute I listen to a beat, I feel like the beat tells that story, and then I'm able to express myself through it. Like mostly I write stories about myself or things I've been through, or something that I'm inspired or aspired about.
Okay. So all you music is personal.
Pretty much.
Okay. And then like, why music? Like,
You need to be clear what you mean.
what
music?
attracted you to music, I suppose?
What attracted me to music? I feel music is life. Music is everything. Everything is inspired by music. Like art, dancing,
Okay.
even going to the gym you need music. Like literally everything you do. Apart from sleeping now. Some people do sleep with music on, so they
So,
have that.
They have that as well.
Yeah.
And I know you were talking about like just you kind of read about your inspirations as well. Who would kind of be your inspirations or music inspirations?
Funny enough, I don't listen to a lot of Afrobeats. I'm more of a American music type of person. I listen to a lot of American music. But I would say I get inspiration from all artists of all genres, whether hip hop, Afrobeats, and some of them would be Key Glock. I get a bit of like fashion sense from that type of music, a bit of like hustle mentality, or get on your toes and do it yourself. I know a lot of people who don't know that artist. Some famous artists that everyone will know, like that I get inspiration from, is E.G., Davido, Burna Boy. I like the wave or routes they took towards hustling and like grinding. Even though E.G., Davido had a rich father, it was like he went his own lane and he decided to build something that was his own. So I feel like that was great. Burna Boy, I was a fan of Burna Boy before he even blew up, before everyone knew him. This was like years ago, years when I was in college. I think this was like 2013, 2014. I've been listening to Burna Boy since then. Yeah, and then going forward, it just blew up, and it just lets me know like you have to start somewhere and you have to keep pushing for what you dream. Yeah, so that's that.
That makes sense. So would you like to kind of like collaborate? Who would be the best person, or like who would you most like to collaborate with?
Is that out of the two of them or
Out of everybody.
in general?
In general.
Collaboration. I would like a collaboration with Chris Brown. She's my girl's favorite artist. I said she. as in Chris Brown the brand,
Mm.
not Chris Brown the person. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm a jealous boyfriend. But other people I like to collab with. I like to collab with a lot of people, everyone. I'm not just talking about famous people. I'm very open to collabing with every like artist that's good and is definitely passionate about their craft. I like to collaborate with them. Yeah.
And when you say good, like what qualities do you feel make it good?
Qualities. You're hardworking. You're learning. Like, cause nobody's perfect. There's always room for learning, and like it's the same both ways. Because even somebody who's developing could teach me something about myself. I find that a lot. So I like to collaborate with everyone. I don't shun or door to collaborations.
Yeah, that makes sense. So like what advice would you, just because I know you're saying, you know, in terms of like developing, what advice would you give maybe aspiring musicians?
Aspiring musicians. I'll tell them keep working hard, educating yourself, and learning. Yeah.
And what's the best advice you've ever gotten?
I think the best advice I've ever gotten was you're always learning. Yeah. Like it's like there's always room to learn. Don't ever think like you've learned enough. Yeah.
So do you think that you could kind of guess, or like what would kind of be your aspiration for your career in maybe 5 years' time?
Aspiration for my career in 5 years time. Hey, bigger than Burna Boy level. Bigger, because you know it's like this with music. You're always topping the next famous actor or whatever. You're always like going above that. It's like there was Two-Face before Burna Boy. There was probably Davido before Burna Boy. But like, you know, everyone is like just leveling up. So my aspiration is to top all of that. Yeah.
And what do you think would be like your biggest highlight so far?
My biggest what?
Highlight so far.
Highlight so far. My biggest highlight so far is performing in front of a crowd. Like it didn't really matter like that there was much or less. It was just like giving me a feedback of what I could possibly do, and the feedback has been great so far. So yeah.
That's really good. And how do you feel going into like a performance?
Going into a performance, I get nerves, but not as bad as you think, because I'm often prepared. But yeah, I always come off the stage feeling like I could do better, which is weird enough. Yeah, like I do so good, but I come off the stage and I'm like, I could do better.
And
Yeah.
do you feel like every artist feels that way?
Everyone?
Every artist feels that way.
I wouldn't know now. I wouldn't know.
Yeah.
Like, I know we have that aftermath of, I could have done this way or done that way, yeah. But for me, I just find it like, okay, next time I'm gonna implement whatever I thought of.
You're gonna, oh yeah,
Yeah.
so you just keep
And,
kind of growing
yeah,
and then
growing.
from that, yeah. And what would be the most kind of difficult thing I say about being maybe, you know, like a musician?
The most difficult thing about being a musician is you expect it to happen overnight, especially when you have that one great record that is so good to you,
Yeah.
and like you put it out there and people don't receive it the way you'd expect it to be received. You expect it to be received as, oh, this is so great, and it just blows up and goes international like
Yeah.
in a period of a week or something like that, like every other artist does, but it doesn't work that way. So it's like a learning curve. It's like you go up and then down and then up and then down and then, you know, it's just a wave. So yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. And like, what would be the best thing then? About being a musician?
Can't hear you.
What would be the best thing about being a musician?
The best thing about being a musician is you get to express yourself, like your flaws, your happiness, your sadness. You get to express yourself, like who you are. And oftentimes you make music without realizing how you're feeling, and then you go back and listen to that music and it speaks to you again. So, yeah.
And do you feel like all music is personal?
I don't feel like all music is personal. Like most music is personal, but not all music.
Okay, so do you think sometimes you might make music just in terms of like trends versus?
Definitely.
Okay.
I do feel that way.
Yeah.
Definitely. I do make music in terms of trends.
That's fair. And if you could change anything maybe about the industry, what would you change?
If I could change anything about the industry. Opportunity. I feel like there should be more help from the industry and stuff like that for developing artists. Rather than, oh, that artist is the perfect artist, now let's sign him. Yeah, I believe there should be a development section to the industry. Yeah.
A development section?
Yeah. Where like you see potentials and you're like, oh, we'll take on that artist to develop them and build them as a brand and help them with what they need to go further, rather than signing an artist just because they're great already.
Okay. Do you think that maybe creating that space for developing artists would maybe not be so helpful to them, because as you said, sometimes it's about the grind?
You might be right there, but who knows?
Who knows?
Who knows?
That is something that you would change though, so you'd probably do it eventually where you would create a space for developing artists.
I hope so.
Okay, and would you get into anything else? Acting, anything like that?
I've always considered acting actually, so we might see some of that in the future.
I see some of that in the future. Well, that's
we might
great.
see some of that in the future.
Well, that is perfect. That was all from me. And it was great talking to you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Would you like a shot? Are you good?
I'm good.
Are you
Okay,
good?
yeah.
Just like
good.
that.
I'm like, no, thank you.
Alright. Thanks for having me, guys. It's Dave, Kody, and I'm out of the building. Thank you.